Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Christine with Pattercrafts, and today is video 1 working with Doodlebug Designs collection. This is called Booville. I believe this is from last year, from 2017, but I recently made a purchase at Scrapping for Less. They were having a online sale, a live like Facebook thing, and they had this packet full of Booville goodies. So I did pick that up. I did not have the 6x6 pattern paper. And a big special thanks to Stacy over at Craftaholic Mama for sending me a pack that she had in her stash. I greatly appreciate it. So right now I'm just kind of showing you everything I have to work with. I've cut down all my card bases. They are going to be the white and black Recollections 110-pound cardstock for card bases. I've got tons of stickers and sticker sheets. Part of the collection that I received from Scrapping for Less was a 12x12 pack. It came with this large sticker sheet. And with the pattern paper, I did cut down card panels, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 from each of the pattern papers in there. And it did have a 12x12 sheet of some of these cut aparts. So I went ahead and cut all those down and all those little sentiment strips down. And I did have some leftover as well, which I might make some banners or 3x3 cards. We're just going to put those aside as things to use in this collection. I've got a bunch of card sketches printed out, and I keep them in a binder, and I've just grabbed a bunch. So the first one we're using is card number 1 is Operation Right Home. And this is sketch, I'm sorry, I had it right here so I can tell you what number it was. It's sketch 226. So I'm grabbing some different pieces of pattern paper. The striped is one of the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 pieces that I cut from the 12x12 paper. Grabbed a 6x6 sheet of that busy pumpkin paper. I thought it was just adorable, and that little sentiment strip that says "Hey Pumpkin" is perfect. I'll probably be using a lot of black card bases for these cards. A lot of the sketches kind of show like a panel on a panel, sort of. I don't know the best way to describe it, but it kind of shows like a pattern paper with like a border around it. And sometimes when you need to do that on a sketch, well, you don't need to, but when it's on a sketch, I just use the black cardstock. I love using black as a matte. It tends to help things pop or make a clear defined line, and using black cardstock kind of gives you that bottom matte without having to grab another piece of cardstock to make a matte. So I've scored my card base, and I've cut down all of my elements. We're going to go ahead and now start putting the card together. So I adhered my card panel and then this focal point with all those busy pumpkins. Now we're going to go ahead and add our banners. Now I did use a fishtail sentiment banner die. It's from My Favorite Things. I'll link it below. And it didn't quite, that little "Hey Pumpkin" was just a little bit too small. So there's no stitching below. So what I decided to do is just overlap the banners so that you wouldn't even notice. It just looks like it's supposed to be covered up by design. So it worked out perfectly. And now I'm adding a white mat to the inside of the card. Anytime I use colored cardstock, I always use a white mat. And then bringing over the mini icon stickers and adding just a little pumpkin to the left. I did debate if I wanted to do more, but I decided I'm just going to start off with just this, and I can always add to it later. Card number 2 is another sketch from Operation Right Home. This is sketch number 239. So I'm using that really fun trick or treat pattern. It is from the 12x12 paper, so the design on it is bigger than the 6x6, so I thought that would make a great card panel. Using this sentiment, Happy Halloween, this is from a Hero Arts set that just has like a bunch of different sentiments, like holiday sentiments. It's got Happy Halloween and Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, I think there's a 4th of July, so just a lot of different holiday sentiments. I really like the font on this. Again, so this pattern paper has a mat. I'm just cutting it down just a little bit so that when I put it on this black cardstock, I've got that black mat underneath. We're going to go ahead and score the card base, and now we can start putting it together. I did use some liquid adhesive for this card, but I don't like it. I couldn't tell you what it is. The label fell off forever ago. I've had it for a very long time. So this is probably I probably won't be using it again. I've seen people use some really amazing liquid glues. I might try some of those out. I find a lot of the liquid glue though kind of wrinkles the paper, if that makes sense. So if you have any suggestions of glue that maybe doesn't do that, I would definitely like to try it. So there we go. That's card number 2. Super cute. Card number 3. I'm not sure. It says Robin, but I can't read the last name on my sketch sheet, but I can read her web page. It says robinscraftroom.com. So this is where I found this card sketch. I printed it off in June of 2017, so I'm not sure if the website is still up. Usually I just Google card sketches with dimensions, and then you can find a whole bunch of them that way. And then I just kind of find ones that I like. So what I'm doing with the green paper is I did not want to use all of it for a panel when so much of it was going to be covered up, especially when like it's a big portion of it, like on this particular design. So I just cut off 2 strips that I would need for the left and the right of that polka dot paper. Just changing out my ATG. It's giving me a really hard time. I have no idea why. So anyway, couldn't function with that, so I just grabbed another adhesive for the minute. I'll fix it after I make this card. So I've got the 2 strips on either side, and then I'm going to add this fun pattern paper to the center. I probably should have used my mat to help guide me, but whatever. Using some Dusty Concord Distressing to just add a little bit of purple to the edge of that white cardstock. Adding that to a purple piece of cardstock so we can put our focal point on here, which is this little boy trick-or-treater with a little saying trick or treat. We'll add a couple little stars here. Now I'm going to grab this Wink of Stella to add to the pumpkin, the stars, and I go randomly on just different circles on that pattern paper. Really didn't think too much about it, just kept going around the paper and just adding a little bit here or there. Now because I did use a white card base, I'm just going to stamp directly onto the card base using this fun scripty Happy Halloween stamp from Simon Says Stamp. This is a stamp set called Trick or Treat. I absolutely love, love, love that font. It's really fun, and added some more stars to the inside to mimic what we did on the front. So card number 4 is another Operation Right Home. This is card sketch 258. Making some of these banners is really a great way to use up some scraps. So the white paper I put on some purple cardstock, but it's not really white. Like, you can't see it here because the gray is so light, but it has spider webs all over it. So I thought that green paper with the spiders on it would be completely appropriate to use as sort of the focal point. And now I'm just adding some different banners. Put those together. And I know I kind of did this sort of backwards. I definitely made it harder than it needed to be. And just adding this whole piece now to our panel. I'm going to go ahead and use some ATG to adhere that to my card base. And then I'm deciding what I want to use for an embellishment there. I really wanted to use this witch, but she just seemed like a little big. And then I decided, hey, you know, I got these buttons. These are really cool. But then they're all sewed together. And I did not want to bother taking the time to take them all off this. So I just grabbed one of the ghost stickers and put that there. So now we're going to move on to the inside. I'm going to add a white panel there. Grab that fun Happy Halloween stamp again. And because we have spiders on the front, it would only be appropriate to put a spider on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and have that spider so it's coming down from the sentiment. And that is it for that card. So moving on to card 5, we're going to use a Mojo Monday. This was designed by Julie Tillman, and it's number 353. Again, using black cardstock. I have this fun spider paper. It is from the 12 by 12 paper, so it is a bigger print than the one we used in the previous card. I cut down some black scrap that I had laying around to be a mat for this purple panel here. And I used a mini scallop border die to cut the decoration on the edge of that black paper. Using some pattern paper from the 6x6 paper pad and adding that purple strip, and this one here with all the little eyes, because those spider eyes are so kind of fun and goofy looking. They remind me of like the googly eyes. So I used that pattern paper as this focal point, and then I used one of the spider clips as kind of an embellishment on the corner there. And because I used the paper clip, I am using some foam tape to put that on. Grabbing a white mat to put on the inside, again using that same Halloween stamp. And I ended up keep using it because at this point I have lost the other Happy Halloween stamp somewhere on my desk. And I'm sure some of you can relate to sometimes misplacing things on your desk and you can't find it until you clean your desk. And I was kind of on a roll and I did not want to take the time to look for it. So we're moving on to card number 6. Card number 6 is using another Mojo Monday card sketch. I love this one. It's 456. Again, it's designed by Julie Tillman. We are using white cardstock, and I'm going to use this green polka dot paper as the entire base, so there would be no mat under this green paper. Now, with this paper here, it was so fun, and I only had one sheet of it. And at some point I'll explain why, because the other side is like a full sheet and I keep those aside. So I cut a circle out of that because I knew it was going to be covered by this circle, and that way I could use it in another card. So I'm adding some of these like enamel type stickers. They were so fun. They worked perfectly. And adding this little Doodle Pop sticker. There's lots of dimension on him. He's super fun with his little pumpkin. He's too cute. And adding one of the sentiment strips, Trick or Treat. So I'm just cutting like a little banner at one end. Go ahead and put that where I want to put it, and then we'll cut the excess off. And again, because the inside is just white from the white card base, this is where I'm also looking for that stamp, that other stamp again. Didn't find it yet. So we're stamping the Halloween, Happy Halloween again, and adding a little pumpkin with some candy in it. He's just too cute. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This is card number 7. This is a Sweet Sunday sketch. This is, I think it's number 300. And there's that circle from that other card, that I cut out. I told you I would use it again. This is a really fun sketch, especially if you have like some just strips of paper that you're not sure what to do with. So I'm going to cut this strip down so that they're 1-inch strips. And we're going to put those on the card base just directly on. I'm going to again use the black card base like kind of as a black mat for underneath by just leaving a little bit of space above and below each of the strips that I put on here. I'm putting a piece of the orange above and below, and then I'm going to bring in a blue piece of cardstock, and we're going to go ahead and cut that down to put in the center. I wanted these papers to be really toned down because I want that other circle with all the little houses and trick-or-treaters. I wanted that to be the focal point. I wanted your eye to be drawn there. So I'll go ahead and put that on a purple mat that I cut down with a mini scallop stitch circle die, or it's got a long name. Adding our Happy Halloween sentiment, another little spider, and we're going to add some stars to that. And we'll go ahead and put that on the inside. Oh, we're going to grab some Nouveau drops. That's right, on the... If I had like little dot stickers that were all the same size, I might have used those, but I have these Nouveau drops in orange, and it matches the orange on the paper, so let's go ahead and use some Nouveau drops. Card number 8 is another Operation Right Home. This is sketch number 1, 2, 3. I have definitely used this sketch before. It's a great way to kind of use up some random size pieces of scraps that you might have. And I liked that I could put in all kinds of different colors. Now this one I cut too short, and then I was trying to figure out where to put this banner because I cut it too short. I don't know if I'm really happy with that, but it works. So we'll move on to decorating the inside. Go ahead and grab our sentiment again. And this time we are going to put a little ghost at the left lower hand and a little ghost up just on the right above the sentiment. Card number 9 is really fun. I absolutely love this. I got this sketch sheet from the November Flavor of the Month card sketches. It's sketch number 4 on that sheet. It is by this Sweet Shop. It's sketch 66. So much fun. I loved like all this little rainbow paper in there. And you'll see where I make a little boo-boo on the sentiment strip, but I'll also show you how I fix it. So right now I've cut a piece of the ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and use just some regular Scotch tape to tape that to the back of that card panel. Then we'll go ahead and put that down. On the sketch it shows the little oval on the left, or on the right, but because of the sentiment I'm putting it on the left. But before I adhere it, I am going to use the Dusty Concord Distress ink again and put it up on some foam tape. I thought that would just be easier. That way when I need to put the sentiment behind there, I have a little more room to move that around. Adding our little Doodle Pop sticker, this little witch. I think she's so adorable. I've tried using her on a few cards before this one, but it just didn't seem to work out, and I absolutely love her on here. I love all the colors. So here is where I'm cutting down the Got Candy, but I thought I cut it not even, so you see that little strip up there? I cut more of it off. Then to me it looked funny. So go ahead and I put it down, and I decide I'm gonna just put that little tiny piece back on. So I grab my multi-matte medium adhesive and my X-Acto knife. That way I could put it just where I needed it, because this piece was so tiny. But I really am glad I put it back on. And you can't even really tell unless I told you I did that. So we're going to now work on the inside. I'm using this Halloween sticker because it was really bright and I felt it matched the stripes on the front. But it didn't have a happy, like there was no happy sticker on that icon sheet, so I used the alphabet stickers and created the happy with those. And I created another little scene with the cat, the house, and the moon with the cloud. Go ahead and add that to the center. Now, you can't have Got Candy and not have candy, so I added 2 of the candy stickers and a couple more of those little dots to finish off that card. We're using a little bit of Wink of Stella on her hat and on her dress. And there you go. That's card number 9. Now this last card for this video, card number 10, I have that panel, and that panel pretty much is an entire card panel. So I decided this is gonna be a super easy Halloween card. Now I did think when I was first adhering it that it was the full size, but it's not. So I need to give a little bit of a border above and below. So I centered that a little bit more, but I don't know if you noticed, I flipped the card base over because when I pulled it off, I ripped the card base where the black would be showing. So the card didn't lay as flat as I thought it should, and that will come into play in just a few minutes. So I have a bunch of little candy stickers at the bottom for the inside, and I decide now I'm going to kind of decorate a little bit this, you know, panel here, because I didn't really do anything with it, so let's just add a little something. So I'm adding some Wink of Stella to the Trick or Treat, to the 2 little candies that are outside of the wrapper, the bottom of the candy corn, and on the colored stripes of these candy sticks. Then I decide to bring in some glossy accents. And I'm sure we've all done this at one point with glossy accents. So here I am covering my little wrapped candies, but my card base doesn't lay flat. So I ran to the kitchen to get a cup so I could put it on there, and I get sidetracked. And you'll see at the end of this video what happened when I got sidetracked. So now I'm just kind of showing you all of the cards, front and inside. So this is going to be the first 10 cards. So there will be another one with the next 10, and I'm not sure beyond there how many more there will be. I would like to thank you all so very much for watching and sticking through this 25-minute video. If you liked this video and you would like to see more and you're not already, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Pattercrafts. We have some fun there. There's my glossy accents. That's what happens. Anyway, have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you again so much for watching and supporting me. Until next time, bye.